Yo, what's going on with y'all boys, man? Welcome back to another video. And if you're new here, welcome. You know what I'm saying? I'm just here to hop on here real quick just to talk about game 1 of the NBA Finals. You know what I'm saying? Between the New York Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs. You know what I'm saying? My first initial thoughts was the fact that Wembanyama has to play better. You know what I'm saying? If he has a game like that, there's no chance for the Spurs to win. You know what I'm saying? Especially given that the New York is a gritty team and they like, you know, those games where they have to basically fight in order to get a win. You know what I'm saying? You know, they thrive in those environments where, you know, it's ugly, it ain't pretty. You gotta grind to get the win. Every game that Wembanyama doesn't play up to a certain expectation, they lose. You know what I'm saying? Every game that he shoots poorly from the field or he comes out slow, they lose. You know what I'm saying? It's simple. But also, I think part of that comes from, you have to give New York credit, the fact that they were, you have to give New York credit, more specifically Karl-Anthony Towns, and the way that, you know what I'm saying, he came at Wembanyama. Unlike Chet in the OKC series, Cat really attacked Wembanyama. You know what I'm saying? Not being scared and really, you know what I'm saying, just not ducking from him, you know? And like I said, you have to give him credit on the defensive side of the ball too. The way that he was able to, you know what I'm saying, limit Wembanyama, be physical with him. And just, yeah, he really surprised me, to be honest, because even though Karl-Anthony Towns has been, you know, good so far with his defense so far in this playoffs, he's not really known as a defender. You know what I'm saying? Especially against somebody like Wembanyama, who basically makes everybody disadvantaged towards him. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, he's never been really seen as a defender. You know what I'm saying? If anything, he's been pretty much known for his offensive ability his whole career. And also the fact that the New York Knicks were able to weather the storm with Brunson not being able to shoot the ball well and them not particularly being on fire from the field, and taking on the Spurs runs and really just weathering the storm and staying within the game, making sure that the game doesn't get out of hand, you know, because the Spurs are a team that likes to play fast and they can run up the score, you know what I'm saying, as good as anyone in the league, especially with causing turnovers and, you know what I'm saying, just turning the table quick. You know what I'm saying, especially with them being at home. This is the first time that the Spurs have been in the finals in a while. But one thing I will say overall is the fact that the Spurs did look at times a little bit sluggish. You know, besides Champagnie and Dylan Harper stepping up big time, which is two surprising, you know, players to step up in the NBA Finals, but that's what you need. But besides those two, it just seemed like the Spurs were a little bit sluggish. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like the fact that they been to a game 7 and a game 6 with Minnesota, it raises the question of, is fatigue starting to become a factor? You know, because ultimately that's really the only thing that I see standing in the Spurs' way. They're one of the teams that play one of the most games throughout the playoffs, you know? And especially you're going to get somebody like the New York Knicks, who are well rested. You know what I'm saying? Between sweeping the Cavs and ending the 76ers in 5. You know what I'm saying? It just seems you could definitely see which team has more energy and which one doesn't. And ultimately, I just think the biggest takeaway from it is the fact that the New York Knicks are for real. You know, now I know a lot of people might say, oh, I've been through that. I've been, you know, on the New York bandwagon, or I've been on the New York wave. But, you know what I'm saying, me personally, I didn't really see, you know what I'm saying, the New York Knicks as a real contender. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think the teams that they played up to this point haven't really been championship caliber teams. You know what I'm saying? Like the Spurs. The Spurs have been battle tested, have been, you know what I'm saying, just been through the ugly, the good, the bad, and ugly. You know, done played OKC, who at times throughout most of the season, pretty much the whole season, have looked like the best team in the league. Played the Timberwolves, a physical, gritty team. The Trailblazers, who, even though they were an 8th seed, you know what I'm saying, I still think that they're a team that you shouldn't play around with. You know what I'm saying? Especially given that they had vets, players with experience. They the ones that been battle tested, and the Knicks are the ones that's pretty much been coasting through the playoffs. Haven't lost a game in over a month since April 23rd. You know what I'm saying? Which is unheard of. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that they've been shooting the ball historically well. It's just a lot of things are happening that, me personally, that makes me question, is this team for real, or is it just the timing? Which is what you want if you want to win the championship. You know what I'm saying? That's all that plays into winning the championship, hitting the stride at the right time, you know, getting hot at the right time, everybody, you know, hitting the same stride at the right time. So it's not just me hating and saying I don't like the New York Knicks. I like what the New York Knicks have going on, for sure. Like I said, after this game, they are for real. You know what I'm saying? Because this may be the only game where they've really been tested as far as, you know, against a team that's championship caliber, or a team that's, you know, also been battle tested and showing that they can win. But ultimately, I do think that just switching back over to the Spurs, that I think everybody should expect Wembanyama to bounce back. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing I will say throughout this playoffs, every time Wembanyama has a bad game, they lose. But either it's the next game or the game after that, he's going to bounce back. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's one thing that the Spurs have done well with, is being able to bounce back, not pondering over a loss, you know what I'm saying, over time. Not letting it get to them and realizing it's just one game, which is out of, you know, character for a young team like the Spurs, who I think is the youngest team to make a final since the 80s or 70s. It's one of them. It's historically crazy. But the fact that they've been able to bounce back very well, I definitely don't see them having the same performance like they did, you know, in game one. You know what I'm saying? With them only scoring 95 points, you know, not really shooting the ball well, just looking a little bit sluggish. You know what I'm saying? Now, a few bright spots you could take away if you're the Spurs is the fact that Champagnie was shooting the ball out of his mind in game one. You know what I'm saying? Which he was doing earlier in the season when they played the Knicks. Because ultimately, him, Dylan Harper, Vassell, like, these are all going to be X factors. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know Wemby's the biggest X factor, but you also going to need somebody like Harper and Champagnie stepping up. Harper, game 7, stepped up big. Game 1 of the NBA Finals, the biggest stage of not just basketball, but of all the sports. You know what I'm saying? One of the biggest stages of all the sports. Stepping up big. Like I said, it's just some bright spots to take away. You know what I'm saying? Now, there's a lot of wrong, turning over the ball, careless turnovers. Like I said, just not hitting shots, coming out sluggish, coming out slow, hurt the Spurs. But the fact that you're having role players step up is a bright spot that you can definitely take in the game too, and so on. So yeah, you know, I see the Spurs bouncing back because they've been pretty much the best team when it comes to bouncing back from losses. You know, especially if you have somebody like Wembanyama, who at this point looked like he wants to win more than anybody. You know, just the emotion that he shows. I don't see this team, you know, having another performance like that. You know, or let me not say that, I don't see them having that same energy that they did in game one for the rest of the series. It's definitely going to be a different energy. I still have the Spurs winning this series. I predicted that the Knicks was going to win game one just because they were well rested. You know what I'm saying? It's game one of the NBA Finals. The biggest stage. They got the fans behind them. You know, New York fans like to travel. It's just a lot of hype going on in New York right now that, you know, they may be feeling good. But now I expect the Spurs to really turn it on now. You know what I'm saying? To really, you know, lock in and just calm it down a little bit. But we'll see, man. Game one of the NBA Finals went how I expected. I still expect the Spurs to win. But y'all let me know down in the comments who you expect to win. Do you still have the Spurs winning? Do you still have the New York Knicks winning? Or you just don't care who wins? Because ultimately, I'm not a fan either. I don't care who wins, but if I had to choose somebody, it would be the Spurs. But yeah, I appreciate y'all for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you on the next one.